Hi, girls.
Hi.
Hi,
Hi,
How are you?
fine.
fine.
What are you doing?
I just saw a very interesting movie. It's called Shrek.
It is a very bad and an interesting movie.
So, what do you think makes a good movie?
The special bit about love movie. It gives the impression that what happens. It has we empathy with the character and their story. However, in a story instance, what they happen is a matter of empathy, but rather of identification. We identify with what happened on the scores. We, when we see a romance movie based on real events, it is no strange that we identify what they happen. It is no surprise that they will live very intense emotion as expressed because we assume that what we see is real, even if it is years old. And are you what do you consider that show what have good movie?
Good. I don't know much about movies. However, I think that for a movie to be interesting and really good, it must have a great history, a history that is captivating, that has great sense, that you can forget about that history. That is that it be transcendent and surprising. For example, is not um, the typical movie where the good guys beat the bad guys. Um, an important characteristic, according to me, is that the film has the capacity to teach and learn, because I think that is one of the objectives of cinema. So for me, a good and interesting movie should help us learn from others people. For example, my favorite movie are based on real events and adaptations of the books. They are movies that always leave you with lessons and that are always worth seeing again, because that makes them interesting. The movie learn me. Um, Also, in movies based of books, um, I always look at how similar they are and judge how good or how bad it is. Valentina, you consider that should have a interesting movie?
The king of movies that I like are those that have fantasy, because I imagine myself into fantasy place where there are many animals that we have never seen and that people have powers. I also like that they are going to have many adventures. And this made the movie is interesting. For example, I love Harry Potter and Percy Jackson movies. I think they're very good because I can separate myself from the TV and because they entertain me a lot. Um, I also think that romance. movies are very good, especially when they happen due to difficulties, but their love is very strong and they don't separate, and they type of movie are not like those of shouting and feeds because they do not inspire me at all. Besides, I don't like so much violence, and I don't think it's so interesting. And Kenya, what do you consider what should a good movie have?
Okay, for me, for a film to be good or interesting, it must have a good history. For example, when it comes to a romantic films, at the beginning, the protagonist must go through some difficulties, and in the end, be able to solve them. In this way, creating a happy ending. When it comes to scary movies, for my task, the movies must contain many suspensory. And for action movies, there must be a lot of adrenaline, dangerous actions, and that's fights, explosions, and that have a lot of persecution. And that they don't lack the romantic tax.
Okay, in conclusion, we all think differently about movies. It's interesting. See you later in the university, girls.
Bye.
Melissa, bye.